Hello.
Hey, Tracy, how are you?
Good. Good. Hey, I have a really good question for you.
Yeah.
I am working with, she's actually a friend, or more like an acquaintance that is a good friend of my good friend, but I've known her for over a decade. And I'm making a website for her, and I'm finding resistance everywhere. Like, I don't want to use PayPal. I don't want an email form. I thought I would just build the website. I'm like, Chris, I learned this from you. It's content and community, and you can't have one with the other because they hold hands, right?
Mhm.
And so she's like, I just thought that, you'd help me build the website, and then and then all the people would show up. And I'd be like, well, if that were true, I'd be doing a lot less work and I'd be a bazillionaire. So, and so what do you recommend for clients that I will say really don't have, a lot of business sense, that thought they could just manifest? And manifesting is great. And you and I manifest all the time, but they just thought they would manifest everything out of nowhere. Yet they're in resistance to starting this and doing that and accepting that, and, that whole rigmarole.
Yeah. It's a great question because, I'll just say this for the recording. It's going to get posted in my community. To everybody out there watching this, Tracy is a dear friend of mine. She's a business owner for decades, very smart in the business world, successful YouTube channel, multidimensional healer. You go check her out on her website, which, yeah, she's always booking sessions and offering tons of value. So please do that. She has a brilliant community as well. With that out of the way, Tracy did send me a bunch of clients about a year ago, and they were people looking to start business. So I think this is very important to your question. And what my offer was to these people was to help them produce a product, a business product, and to launch that product inside of 90 days. That was the general framework of the program. And these 10 clients all chose to produce website because as a new person getting off in business, you think that the website is the thing that you need to really solidify and validate yourself as a business owner. I went through it myself. I've produced webs for 3 years. I would design a website myself. Feels so good that I conquered it, that I learned how to do it. The content matched everything that aligned with me right then. And then by the time I'm finished designing it, I have to change this, change that, or just redo the whole darn thing because none of it's in alignment anymore. And that's a constant thing. But all of these clients had their hangups at one place or another, whether it was around payment processors or around the information that was going to be conveyed, pictures that were used, you name it. And the thing of it is that, and I was just talking about this not more than an hour ago, is that anybody getting into the business space, they have the thing that they think they need. So we sell them the thing that they think they need. However, you're going to deliver the thing that thing they think they want, but you're going to deliver the thing that they need. So how do you do that, without anybody saying, well, no, I don't need that. So for all of these 10 clients, what it was you need to decide on what your brand is. You need to decide on what your transformation is and what's the language you want to use to get that out there. And the website is where that information lives, but that solid foundational information is what is most important. And that is the information, to your question, that you're going to create community around. That's your uniqueness. That's your authenticity. That's the stuff that puts you into a flow state, an effortless state of creation and offering services to the world through your business. That's the stuff that needs to go onto your website so people can find it about you. But then you still need another place to tell people to go after that. The website is the gateway.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
even had another coach in the UK that was releasing a Go High Level white label product. So basically, for those that don't know, Go High Level is a software all encompassing that does all kinds of stuff for your business. Somebody that's just looking at producing a website is probably not ready for Go High Level. But this guy loaded his product with all of these wonderful things for coaches: funnels, email automations, website templates, all this amazing stuff that would basically take somebody from zero to booking clients every single day with the social media presence and automations. However, the only thing that people clicked on for his ads was the 22 webpage template that he had produced. None of the other stuff did they find value in. All the stuff that would work and get them selling and get them clients, they didn't care about that. All they wanted was a 22-page website that was practically done for you. So it's just this big thing within the marketing and business community that, websites are this kind of big hang up. And it's like, you got some people that say you don't really need a website at all. And that's a tough sell to somebody just getting started. And then you got others that say, you really do need a website. There needs to be a place where people can come and find you. And that's the starting point of them getting in touch with who you are and what your energy is like as a business owner.
Mhm.
So it's just what you're describing, run into it all the time, but it's a delicate dance for me with those 10 clients. It was, okay, I understand that you feel this way, that you don't want to have this social media service on your website because you think it's soul sucking. However, tell me another way that you're going to reach people. And they would say exactly what you said. Well, I'm going to have my published website. So you're just going to come find me and book sessions. Okay.
I wish.
I understand that's a novel idea. I've been there myself, but I'm telling you right now, the quicker you can start to embrace the idea of needing to market yourself to attain clients rather than just have a published website, the better. Otherwise, the site's just going to sit. And probably 80% of those clients, they decided to go off with their published website. They were happy with that. And now it's been about 6 months and they're starting to come back going, all right, I'm ready for the next step.
So it's like, I'm sorry, but it's like when you let your kid, I can't say it because we're being recorded, screw around and find out. It's funnier when you say it the real way. But it's like when you let your kids go off and they insist on doing it this way. And, mine are in my 20s and still they insist on doing it this way. And then they come back and it's like, that didn't work. And it's like, yeah, funny, I know a thing or two. So, and there's no judgment there. I mean, it's not, well, you're going to find out. To me, it's maybe that'll work for you. When she pointed out a hypnotist in a different state that all he did was go to Chamber of Commerce functions for 6 months and he has a website and he never advertised again. And so people will hear these stories and it's like, first of all, I don't believe that. You are constantly marketing. He has to that whole build it and they will come. I don't believe in that model. I had a web design company for 20 years. As a single mom, I always worked a more consistent job and did the multidimensional healing until just, recently. And so the whole build it and they will come. I've done that and marketing for hundreds of website clients. And it's just isn't true, especially when you look at competition nowadays. So to me, what do we do? I understand what you said about you accepted where they were at and they just wanted the website and they think that's good enough. And now they're coming back on, oh, I guess I do need a phase 2. So like, what do you do to show them that, you've got to, I mean, it's like, let's break it down. There's social media. And when I think social media, I think like Instagram and Facebook. YouTube, I don't think of as social media. I don't know if that is correct or not. But to me, YouTube's a different animal than Instagram and Facebook. So you've got social media, you've got YouTube, you've got referrals, you've got repeats. But, it's nurturing, like email. She had no idea you have to have an email list. And it's like, well, yeah, it's your community. You're talking to your community. How are you gonna talk to your community?
And
So,
along that note, first and foremost, I want to double down on what you said because it's very important that there's no judgment here. This is the entrepreneurial energetic journey is an arduous one. It's long and, you go through different phases. Like I said, I went through 3 years of thinking website was it, and that I was valid until my best friend said to me, oh, great. So you're going to do all this coaching and energy healing. How many clients you got? And it was like the most humbling moment ever because I just spent 10 days straight designing this thing. And he just spat in my face saying, how many clients you got? Because the answer was 0.
yeah.
But
And I will throw this in. Well, 2 things in. Number one, when I got a very public referral. You know, when someone talked about me on YouTube, it brought me hundreds of clients, hundreds. When that happened, the bulk of them did not even go to my website. They went straight to the booking and they didn't check me out. The moment I was mentioned by this person, they're like, good enough for me. We trust this person. And so they booked me. And when you're that, I mean, it's $222. They were spending over $200 for a session and they didn't even look at my picture or see what I did. It was the recommendation was good enough for them. So, you know, there you go. The referral was important. The website was irrelevant to 90% of those people.
Yeah.
Isn't
And
that
that's,
interesting?
it is. And that's the power that your referrals had for me. It brings, a lot of us as business owners, we're constantly trying to tackle the cold market. And, having these warm referrals come in, they're pre-sold. All these people that did a session with you and were looking to start businesses, you had already said, hey, I recommend this guy. He's really good with marketing and in your particular niche. So go talk to him and see if it's an alignment, So they were, all they needed to hear from you were a couple of key things that were serving their purposes. And that was it. Rather than a cold call, where it's a lot more, you have to start from scratch with the know, like, and trust. And that's what everybody needs is to know, like, and trust you. And what you said earlier about she had no idea she needed an email list. I didn't know that for a while either, but that is the most important asset any online entrepreneur can have, because if all systems fail, the algorithms go down, everything falls down, and you have nothing else but your email list to reach people, you can still fire off emails to thousands of people and sell stuff, sell your sessions,
Yeah.
sell your programs, whatever it is. So, to have a system set up in place, and it's integrated with your website so that anybody that comes on, signs up for a newsletter, signs up for whatever kind of access or signs up for a free thing, a guide, and you're collecting that email address to go in with an automation into a system that stores those for you. That is your gold.
Yeah, it really is. Plus, it's about community. And the more time goes on, I mean, I can look, I can see what it was like 10 years ago and what it's like now, but it's all about community, which I know you do in Skool, that it's a whole community thing. And I'm just starting on the community um, journey right now. But in the email list I've had for years and years, that part of the community, it's whether you're a coach or a healer or name me some other type of business person, you work with a lot of different people, not just consciouspreneurs or spiritualpreneurs. You work with a lot of different people. And no matter what they're doing, if they're helping you, oh, I'm at a loss because everything I do is conscious. You know what I mean? So whether I'm trying to think if an organization, okay, if they're helping you keep your kitchen organized or they're, a life coach, no matter what they are, your community, they trust you and they look to you. You inspire them, So having that email community, having the Skool community, having a community where you've got board interaction, the same friend that I'm helping out. She's making this course, and I was like, great, but where's your community? Your people have to, in a course, just like in group coaching, they want to be able to talk to each other. They want to interact. You're building a community, you're building a family. And that's what it's about. This whole, it's not like a brick and mortar candle store. People come in, they smell something, they buy a candle and they leave and you never see them again. No, what we're doing as entrepreneurs is building a family. So we're here to help. And by doing that, they're referring other people and it's growing and growing. And so that was another thing. She was like, well, I'm going to put this course together and I'm going to teach it on Zoom for a number of weeks. And I said, that sounds fabulous. Where's your community? Who are you selling this to? She's like, well, I thought people would just find it. And, oh, where? But also it's like, you have to have the community, the boards, Chris, you tell me the word you call it, so that people are talking with you, talking with each other and building that community. And I think that's a big thing that even in YouTube, it's even on my YouTube channel, it's my community. People are commenting. They're commenting on other people's comments. The bigger your channel gets, the more people contribute and build a community. And I'm helping them, they're helping each other. And it's incredible to see.
Yeah, absolutely. The community aspect really helps that know, like, and trust. And it's kind of a known thing in the marketing world that to get somebody to buy something from you doesn't really matter how much it costs. As the price goes up, it's more. But the average is 7 hours of content. The average person needs to get introduced to you, and then your thing needs to be compelling enough wherever they see it, social media, YouTube, wherever. It needs to be compelling enough that they click on the thing, drop their email address, and then they come into your funnel, into your world. And from that place, you still need to tag them several times with a welcome automation sequence of at least 5 emails that goes out in a week. And that's starting to nurture them along to who you are, how you talk, what your energy's like. Then you need to post in your community. Then you need to post on social media, because at any given time, the average person that's already heard of you is only going to see 12% of the things you put out. So you've got to keep doing it. So that whole thing of like, I don't want to email more than 4 times a year. I hear that all the time from healers, and that's because they don't want to bombard their audience with undue communication because they can't stand that themselves. But here's the thing. If somebody's bought into you and you email them 5 days a week, they may be going to open 2 of those. If they're in the right space, the stars
Yeah.
align in their workday, so they have a moment to open your email. If they like you, they're not going to be bothered by 5 emails a week. But to sell a course, like for your friend, she's going to have to promote that to an email list, to social media. And then even then, she still could have no takers by a certain launch date. It just depends on, how much word of mouth she's got going, what kind of organic following, all those things come into play. But with a community, that's the whole idea, is it may start slow. In my community that I've started on Skool, I had 4 members last week. I'm up to 15 members this week. That's because of a very orchestrated content strategy and ad strategy that brings people slowly into my world. And it'll keep getting better and better. But it's the whole thing of it starts with a website. To go back with what started this, it starts with your website, which is your starting place of defining, this is who I am. This is how I'm going to launch myself to the world. But from there, you need to develop your funnel of nurturing your audience in a community, in an email list, and social media.
Yeah. And I'm a little embarrassed. And I, meet people where they're at, but I'm a little embarrassed because while you help me a lot, I'm so busy with all aspects of my business. There's stuff like what you said, the funnel, where they get the free gift when they sign up for the email list and the funnel, and then get to know them. And, I have a lot of friends that are incredibly successful. Some of them email 3 times a week. Some of them email once a week. I'm once a month. I'd like to get to twice a month or even more. But, like a lot, you heard from the clients I sent you, we're just so busy. And a lot of people are still doing their 9-to-5 job. This is a whole nother topic, but I'm going to interrupt myself and say the biggest thing that I hear from clients when I'm coaching them, and, when I do multidimensional coaching, I talk to their soul. But when they're talking about starting a business, they think that their website has to be perfect and everything has to be on there. No, it's, you know what? Throw something up. I tell them I reinvent myself every year. I have renamed my sessions probably every 2 years for the past 20 years. Just get something up there, because people are going to make their opinion on their own, So you're going to be making changes on the website. Just get started. It's like YouTube. Just get started. Just do it. It'll change. It'll shift, But people that think this is it, this is the big launch, and this is who I am. Trust me, a month from now, you're going to want to say something else or add something or subtract something, So it is not the end all be all. It is a very ebb and flow, fluctuating, more live business card. That's what
Absolutely.
I think.
Yeah, and thank you for saying that about just start. And it doesn't have to be perfect, because then it's so important to anybody that may be listening to this at a future time. If you're thinking about, you're just getting started in your business, or even if you're just revamping a website or a brand idea, you need to just get something up. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll give you a real live example with a client of mine. It took us about 6 months to get her first website up. She had a really cool fusion of services. We got that into about I don't know, 8 or 9 page site, booking apparatus, everything linked up. And then she needed to step away for a couple of months and let that settle, because I'm a big believer in allowing people to have time to energetically align with the next phase. So that's what she did. She came back, and now we're talking about her next phase, which is client acquisition. And now the website we designed is already out of date. The sessions that she's going to provide now with her brand new brick and mortar setup are not the sessions that she designed that went on site. So that's where she
Yeah.
and I had an hour-long session now. She's like, so wait a minute, my website doesn't work anymore. I said, well, you're describing moving into something that doesn't, that it's not on this site. So either we change that one, or I just make you another landing page that's synonymous with what you're offering now, because it might change again in 3 more months. So that's why I don't even offer full websites to clients anymore. I offer, for private clients, I offer them the software that will build them a landing page for what they're producing right now. And that's all they need, that links up to a funnel that takes care of the emailing, the selling, the scheduling, everything. And then if 2 months from now they have a new product, bam, we just clone a new landing page, new content, and we're off and running. It's way more efficient. You can still have like a mother website kind of a place where you talk about who you are and what your brand is, but your services are always changing.
Very true. Very true. So, that's what I would love to stress to people that are starting their business is who will be eating today, and just do that. And then when you change it, it's not, oh my God, I did all this work and now I feel like I'm going in a different direction. It is Yahoo, like I'm going in this new direction. I have a new passion, like Bashar says, follow your passion as far as you can follow it. And so you're following a new passion, and your website can shift with that, so some things can stay the same, some things can change, but, allow yourself to shift and change, and know that your website's going to shift and change with you, which does mean either you need to know how to edit your website, or you need to hire, a web editor, whether you go on Fiverr or, get recommendations from friends or something like that, because, you will be editing it. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And the funny thing is too, is that a lot of times we might set out to create what it is we want to offer right now, but what goes on the site is actually the thing that you're going to offer in 5 years. And I think that's what happened with this particular client, is that her service that she has created out of her own experience from a multitude of different sources, she wants to still offer that. So that's, she doesn't want to tear down the site. She just wants to focus on one dimension of those healing sessions. So that's why I said just a landing page. That is it. But you can't have a website that says I offer this, and then it's in the actual location and the service you're providing is just one of that thing on your website. It just doesn't match. So that's the thing, is your branding. A lot of people don't want to talk about branding when they're first starting out, but that is just so important to figure out your authenticity, what makes you unique, what you're bringing through to your clientele. It doesn't matter if it's the same thing somebody else is bringing, but what your filter of that thing is, and build your business around that. It will always be solid.
Yeah, agreed. And that's really interesting what you said about the landing page, because this is why it helps to have a marketing person, even when you're just starting out, even when you haven't started making money yet. Is I wouldn't have known that if I go off and do something a little bit different, do I change my website? How do I do this? And it's like, you have the expertise to know, no, in this case, we're just going to do a landing page for that,
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why, I mean, you think about some big behemoth in the industry that most people have heard of, which is ClickFunnels. I talked to a lady in the breathwork space that we were just talking about business ideas and platforms to use for services. And people were talking about the subject of websites. And she chimed in a group of 50 and said, I don't know why you guys are all obsessing about websites so much. I just use ClickFunnels for everything, but I'm going to switch to Go High Level because it's a little bit more robust. ClickFunnels, it's like you have a product that you want to sell. You make a funnel that has a landing page and a buying process. So if you go look in somebody's ClickFunnels account, let's say they got 10 products, they don't have 10 websites. They have 10 landing pages that sell those products, and that's it. And if you ask that person, well, where's your website? How do people look you up? Like, well, if they look up my name, they're going to find the products that I sell, and that's all I care about.
Yeah.
So,
And
there's
that works
multiple
for them.
that works for them. Now, my clientele and me, I'd like to have something that tells people who I am and how I like to do business. So I think the website, that's where I'm kind of right in the middle. Those that say you don't need one, those that say that's all you need. I'm right in the middle. I think you should have a place where people can Google you.
Right. Well, and like when I look at my website, I have my meditations on a page. I have my podcast on a page. I have my sessions on a page. And so they get to see everything I do, not just the homepage and the about me. They get to see all the, all where they can find me and all what I do, you know.
Mm.
But this brings up another question is when people are talking about niching, what like you have to have a niche. And I was putting together my my YouTube course and I was doing all the research and it seems like everyone's saying once you're like over 50, you don't need to niche. And that baffles me. But when it talks about a niche, that's a whole nother thing with marketing. It's like, how niche down do we do? Like, how much do we have to niche down? And can I be this and that? Like when I look at my YouTube channel, I think it's pretty diverse because I'll answer any kind of cosmic or multidimensional or ascension or galactic or angelic question. So I'll answer all of that. So that whole thing is my niche. But I think a lot of people do get confused on how do they have to niche? And if they say their niche is, like you've got a client that does yoga nidras. And so if she's doing, like, say she's doing these guided meditations just for peace. Well, what if she wants to do, and I'm making this up, but what if she wants to do one for manifestation? But she's the peace coach, right? Something
Mhm.
like that. So, explain niches to me because that always baffles me that people think I have to be this and I can't ever change.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a couple of different schools of thought on this. First of all, it depends on what the product is. Cause I learned this with releasing a book over the summer. And that was that I needed to be a little bit more broad with the marketing language for this particular book because it was about creating community. So if I zeroed in really hard on coaches and healers, I had way less attention around the book. Once I zoomed out to coaches, experts, and consultants, it had cast a wider net for people that were looking at, creating community as a business model. So that's one example where broader worked better for me. And the proof was in the pudding and the numbers of sales. However, when it comes to delivering sessions, building your brand and programs around your brand, there's riches and niches. And I think that knowing your particular niche is the fact that you can be so diverse with your, with what comes through during a session or just when you're talking to somebody. It covers so much compared to other coaches and healers that I've worked with where they do have just that one thing that they do. However, you could bring the information through several different filters. So to me, that is your niche, which is kind of interesting in and of itself. But just I'll put it in terms of Skool communities that I've seen. So you've got one Skool community that says, come join my free community and I will teach you how to launch a business. There's one example. Another example is a community that says, come join my community. I own horses and I only want to speak to other people that own horses and want to talk about caring for horses. And that's all my community is about. The one community that talks about wanting to help people launch a business, it's very dry, very little engagement, maybe a few followers, just because it's so broad that it doesn't speak to anybody. You need to ring that bell if somebody says, yes, that's me. I need that. So another example of that
like,
is
like you
community.
understand me. Like you
Exactly.
understand me, and that's why I'll follow you. Okay, keep going.
And so like the business person, a revamped version of that might be, I help horse breeders find homes for their horses through this business model or whatever. That is going to say to whoever sees that, that's that whole dog whistle mentality where nobody can hear the dog whistle except the dog. It's speaking directly to that person. Or like, I help introverts learn how to sell themselves online with faceless videos. That's going to speak right to the person scrolling that's being on camera,
Yeah.
So the community, this is a real community on Skool, by the way, that is of people that own horses. I think there's 3,000 people in it. They all pay like $75 a month to get on And it's not even about courses. Yes, there's courses on there about, recommended products and practices for caring for horses, but they all get on there and pay the 75 a month because they want to talk to other horse owners and share stories.
Exactly. And that's and that is community. And that's, what I'm telling my friend, and that's why I sent people to you. Because what did you say it again? Trust, know, and what
Like,
are the
know and
three things?
trust.
Yeah, like, know, and trust. That's it. They like the topic. They're getting to know a person that hosts it and they trust them. And then they, know everybody else. That's it exactly. And so many people I see have really good stuff. And, whatever, a coach, a healer, a content creator, you've got really good stuff, but they don't have the community. And it's like you still have to build the community. It's not that baseball movie, build it and they will come.
And
Like
that's
it's
what
not
and that's what your friend that you're helping and a lot of my clients have said is that I can just put this out there. And especially for us, us healers out there that are really master manifestors, and we believe that we call things in, we think that we can publish a website and the universe will take care of the rest. That is true to align yourself with that kind of abundance, but that's not
Mhm.
all. It's also, you also have to take action in marketing yourself and getting it out there.
Well, inspired action. But you know what I see happen to with my clients so often is that they'll build their website, they'll put it out there, and then I had a client that's a nurse, and she built this course, and she's like, "Great, I'm going to quit my job." So she quit being a nurse because she built the course, and then she sold 3 courses. I mean, she sold 3 of them, and she's like, "Oh my God, I'm running out of savings." What happens so often is when people don't when they focus just on content and not on community, then when they don't have a community to sell to, it doesn't flop. It just hasn't started yet, especially the way you wanted it to. Then they go into survival mode. And so when you say build it and it will come, and people think this is great. I did it. Now I can, be free and this is going to be the start of my great life. And then it doesn't fly like they thought. They go into survival mode. Now you're not manifesting all of the people. Now you're not manifesting anything. You're freaking out. And it happens to all of us. It happened to me when I moved, and just in a personal way because so many changes. And so that's the thing is people go, well, I'm going to attract clients. I'm going to this and that. Not if you go into survival mode. So, which leads me to some of the clients of mine that work with you for their marketing, they went my route where they kept a full-time job and did healing, as a side hustle, I guess you'd call it now. It's not what we called it 20 years ago, but they were doing it as a side hustle. And so I balanced work, I balanced a job and my career. My healing work was my priority, but I wanted the financial stability of a job because I was a single mom. That's just the choice I made. Well, I know a lot of the clients that I sent to you that you're working with are in the same boat. They have their full-time job. They want the financial security. So, and here's the question. So they're not finding the time to build their business and build their community. They want to segue. But you're segueing either by, saving $1 million and then quitting your job and leaping, or, like 99% of us, you're segueing by doing both at the same time. So what do you have to tell these new entrepreneurs that really want to start their dream business, but they're not finding the time, they're not making the time, because of their full-time job and their family and their everything else. They already have a full life.
Yeah, this comes up quite a bit in my world. And all I can say is that number one, there's usually a little bit of a gray area when it comes to where am I actually spending my time. A lot of times people are a little bit, they're not fully aware of that the time that they have in a day can be reorganized or remanaged. And it's usually because you have to come up against comfort zone boundaries. And, you don't realize that your comfort zone is coming home from your 9 to 5 and Maybe it's scrolling on your phone. Maybe it's, tinkering around the house. Maybe it's watching TV, binge watching episodes of TV, and you think, this is my relaxation. I deserve this. I need this to get over my day. So I'm going to just do it. I deserve it. And then it's bedtime, and then you're too tired to look at anything. Then procrastination sets in, then depression in yourself sets in. So for my first question would to that person is, have you zeroed in on something you want to create through your online business that is fueled with passion? Does it light you up to think about it? Do you wake up in the middle of the night thinking about it? Do you wake up in the morning thinking about one small step you can take towards that? Because that fills your cup up rather than depleting it. Your 9 to 5, your other obligations, you may feel like those things are draining you and robbing you of time. But when you have a passion fueled project, you will find time. And this is what happens to me. I wake up in the middle and thinking about little nuances of, I need to put that in place, or I need to change that. My brain is always going to it because I believe it's guided from my higher self as to why I'm here, is to help people bring their unique gifts through online business. So first of all, with somebody that's just starting, I would say, first and foremost, give yourself permission to stay at your 9 to 5. You don't
Yeah.
need to leave it right now. So give yourself some grace to just stay there and keep doing the thing that you can already do in your sleep. You don't need to use your full energy to do that thing. You've mastered the process of it. You can do it in your sleep. So keep showing up to it. But maybe there's an hour in the day where you can focus on working on something with your business. Maybe there's an hour in the morning before you go. Maybe there's a few hours later when you get home. And if you don't want to do it, or it doesn't feel aligned, then that's something to look at too. Maybe now's not the right time. Maybe the thing you're choosing to do isn't passion fueled. That there's always a reason. People make time for what's important. I've always said that.
Yeah.
So if it's important to you to change gears and to eventually quit the 9 to 5, replace your income and move into the thing that fills up your cup and you just helping people and you love it, then you will make time for that thing.
Yeah.
But
And
always, the thing I'll say about it too, though, sorry to cut you off. The
No,
last
go.
thing is identity shifts. People come up against these identity shifts and it's all about comfort zone. Like, for example, the identity shift of having to go from, all right, I want to start a business, so I want to create a website. That's one phase of entrepreneurship. Then you create the site, it's published, it's live. People can find you if they land on it somehow. You have to go through an identity shift to get from I published a website, now I'm a business owner, to now I need to go into client acquisition and acquire clients. You have to uncover a new version of yourself to go into client acquisition and learn how to do some marketing things. And you're either ready for it or you're not. It's told me back in the beginning of my journey that, Chris, I thought I wanted to be an energy healer and a coach. If somebody said, Chris, you essentially got to become a marketer or else that stuff's never going to work, I would have been totally deflated.
It's
a free one.
people get overwhelmed or
Exactly.
deflated, overwhelmed, disillusioned. Yeah. Plus I think you got to look in the mirror always. It's that awareness, because like the one client you have that I sent you, so she's a client of both of ours. She's absolutely amazing, but she's not pulling the trigger on her content. And it's like, you got to look at yourself in the mirror, because what you said, if it was important enough, you would do it. Well, then why aren't you? Because, when I look at my YouTube channel, my sessions aren't on video. My YouTube's not on video. I'm pretty reclusive. And while I love interacting with my community and I love helping people, I love putting the content out there to help people, I've been doing the YouTube channel now for almost 8 months. It's not easy. Technologically, it's pretty easy for me because having owned a web design company, and you sent me some really great software, and we've worked on some other software, and so I have the process down pat, but it's not easy for me. I don't like it. I can't tell you how many times I thought, right when I get up and I'm in the flow, I'm gonna record my podcast, and instead I'm out feeding the horses. And then I have sessions, and then I have a workout, and then I have everything. And now it's 7 p.m. and I didn't do it. And it's my time to relax. Just what you said. I don't watch TV, but it's my time to relax before I go to bed. And I'm like, nope, I have to put my podcast out. And I drag myself to the office and I sit in that chair and I'm like, okay, angels and guides, what am I talking about? And I literally make myself do it. And then I record it and I'm like, well, not my best word, but at least it's out there. And then I'm editing it and I'm like, oh, okay, well, this isn't bad. Oh, well, no, this was helpful. No, you know what I mean? I make myself do it, even when it's not easy, even when it's not coming forward. I tell myself, first of all, it's no big deal. If I put out something that I think is 70% versus 100%, we're human. We're not going to be at 100% every moment of the day. Even Tony Robbins isn't. But also, so it's no big deal. But also, if it helps one person, you know, I don't make YouTube content to make sales. I make YouTube content to help people. Now, they book through the videos, and I do get a lot of business from my YouTube channel. But the point that I do it is help people. So I just remind myself, even if I'm not feeling my best, even if this isn't my greatest work, at least I did it. It's out there and I know it's helping at least one person. And so I just make myself do it and I feel so much better afterwards. So after 8 months, it's still not easy. I'm sure 1 or 2 have been great, but it's still not easy. It's still not fun most of the time, but it is providing value. It is connecting me to my community. It's helping people, and that's what I want. So I keep doing it. And the one YouTube guy that I follow said it could be 5 years before you feel that you're good enough, especially when you're on camera, before if I'm like, oh, good. And then, if I still feel this way after almost a year, I'm still okay. But, for me, hearing all the people that just aren't getting started because they don't have enough time in the day, because they don't want to take time away from their kids, or because their job requires so much. Look at it as energy, not time. Energetically, your job. You do your job in your sleep. So energetically, you could be keeping your energy for your new career, your passion, even though you're giving your job the time because you know how to do it well. So,
Yeah, how much easier does the day job get to carry out when you have that fun thing to go to eventually?
Exactly.
To look forward to.
And when you see the fruits of your labor, like when I podcast, some of them might not be real easy to do. And it is kind of a crapshoot, I think, this algorithm, so you just never know what people love. So you don't get attached to anything. I could do something fabulous and it doesn't do well. And I did something once, like I think it was soul contracts. The first time I talked about it, nothing, a few hundred views. The second time I talked about it, a couple months later, it was like 12,000 views. I'm like, what? I already talked about this. So, you don't know. So just keep doing what you want to put out. How they take it is none of your business. So just keep doing what you want to contribute. But yeah, that's a tough one. When people are like, I don't have the time, I don't have the energy. And I say, look in the mirror. Why aren't you doing it? What's behind that? Because if you really wanted to help people that much, if you really wanted this dream to come true, you'd make it happen.
Absolutely. And then just for a little bit of context for everybody watching this after the fact, Tracy started a YouTube channel, what'd you say, 9 months ago now?
It was March, 8 months ago. It was middle of March, 2024.
8 months ago. So it's grown leaps and bounds. Like she's able to monetize now just in that short period of time. So that's a huge feat. And it brings up something that I think is important for the end of this call, which is something that was given to me by another coach called the compounding effect as a business owner. And I think that this is so relevant because a lot of times as new entrepreneurs, you'll create something and it will, like, for instance, when I lived in Asheville, I was doing nothing but writing coaching programs, and they were great coaching programs, a little disconnected, but great programs nonetheless. And I would launch them, but with a poor launch strategy or marketing skills, and it would launch to crickets, meaning nobody would reach out saying, yes, I want that. And I got discouraged, got defeated, and I would reset and think, all right, nobody wanted that. So now I'm going to start all over it. And I'm going to create something brand new, even change company name, like all the way down to just, burn it down and start all over again. And what happens from that is it's great to reset and shift gears when you're supposed to, but there's another side of that. And that's serving an intention that you set in your business. Tracy set an intention to start a YouTube channel. and started generating clients for herself free from referral. And she's done that in 8 months. So that's the thing when she's talking about showing up over and over, it's the compounding effect, because that which she creates today, even though she may not feel like doing it and she may not get many likes tomorrow when it's published, 2 years from now, it could go viral because she's put it out
Yeah.
there. It was inspired today and it's serving her intention of what she wants to create in her business. So that's the same for me starting a community on Skool. It's got 15 members today. Most people listening to this might think, geez, that's nothing, but everybody's got to start somewhere. And I'm doing this to prove that you can launch a community with little to no following, put some value out there, and you don't need to wait until you're established. You start the community now. That's the thing I want to shift. A lot of people think I need to be established. I need to be busy, in demand, then I'll start a community. I say, no, start the community right now, because they're going to be your biggest pool of fans if you deliver enough value and nurture them the correct way. So every single piece of content, I'm putting it into a pool of 15 people, and some of them are, I barely got them to go into the Skool platforms. It may not even be seeing my posts. No engagement on them, little to no engagement. My wife, God bless her, Tracy, they go out and engage with these things because they know that this community is just getting rolling. But it's not about today. It's about, in the next month or two, and there's 100 people in there. Now they're going to have a whole batch of content to go back and watch, and it's going to be of value then. So it's not just today, it's in the future moment with compounding effect. And, for everything that Tracy produces on YouTube or I produce in my community, if I have 500 people in my community, of those 500, maybe 25 to 50 of them are going to be hardcore engaged and be hanging on to every word, buy your higher ticket stuff, buy your sessions. But that's, you're doing that because every piece of your content, you want to deliver value. If it's at the free level, if it's at the low ticket level, high ticket level, you want to make sure that you are serving the purpose of delivering value to those on any income level, any ability to pay. So that's the intention that I serve now, is that I delivered tons of value into this free community. And if people love that, they're going to reach out to me and say, hey, I really like the way you do things in this community. How do I work with you on a deeper level? I firmly believe that I don't need to do a hard sell. I can get on an audit call with somebody's business, talk to them about where they are in their business. And I don't even have to say one word about high ticket, because whether it's on that call, they say, how do I work with you more? Or it's 6 months from now when they consume a lot of my content and decide they want more help. I believe in playing that long-term game now, rather than just short-term wins and then constantly resetting, restarting. And then you're not compounding at that point. You're starting from scratch every single time. And that's why entrepreneurs get burned out and throw in the towel and go back to the 9 to 5.
Exactly. Plus, when you're doing that compounding, you're putting it out. Like, I learned that from you. Free content, inexpensive content, and expensive content. Something for everybody, because somebody could be watching your free content for a year, and then one day they're like, that's it, I'm buying your $10,000 program, your $10,000 coaching. You don't know. Like, what when I got referred by that friend of mine publicly, 1%, the views that they had on their video, 1% booked. Now, they obviously had thousands and thousands of views, but it was a very small number. So you just keep contributing. Like with your content, I tend to watch it on YouTube, not on the Skool community. I log into Skool to comment on your posts. But when you're putting content on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, you don't know where people are looking at it. So to say that you've got, no likes on Instagram. Well, what if they're all watching it on YouTube? Like,
Exactly.
you don't know where they're coming from, but that's it. I agree with you. That's how you build your community. And because I've been doing this so long, they didn't have communities back then. And so, you were saying build the community now while you're starting out. That's such a good point, because when you try to build the community when you're established, you're already so established, it's hard to find the time and energy. And honestly, you're like, but I'm already booked out. Why do I need to do this? So
Yeah.
it's like, because you can grow more, because time is money and you can't be doing one-on-one things for your whole life. That's another thing you really help with, is when businesses are like, when people are entrepreneurs are like, okay, I just want to be a coach, or a healer, and so I'm going to do these one-on-ones. I'm like, that's fine. You can make six figures a year doing one-on-one sessions. You can also get burnt out. You also have a limit on the number of people you can reach. What are you doing for group coaching? What are you doing for memberships? Which you've explained, as a group coaching is different than memberships. And so, in communities. So it's like, the reason why I have you as my marketing guy is so that I can expand in different directions. So it's not always based on my time, that I can be helping people on a more global level, and also earning passive income on a more global level. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you've been doing one-to-ones for a long time. And you so much value. You love the one-to-ones. Everybody's
Yeah.
different. Some people are only going to like the group coaching. It's not all about lead. It's not all about, protecting your time. I've talked to other coaches that, this one man in particular, he launched a 17 employee coaching company inside of a year, and scaled it really fast. And it took 2 years before he burned out, shut the whole thing down, and got depressed, had to take 2 years off. So now he's gone in and relaunched his business in a way that he can be only employee. So he can show up for his babies, and only do, if he does have one-to-one clients, he does the majority of the coaching through text message or voice, delivering voice messages through text messaging apparatus instead of having 1 hour calls, because he's learned that his time is incredibly important to him. So that's true for every entrepreneur. Decide what's important to you. Tracy loves one-to-one, but she's also entering a phase where she wants to, do more of one-to-many and touch more people with her gifts too. So that factors in as well.
Well, one-to-ones can lead to a lot of burnout, and we just can't, year after year after year, you just can't hold that cycle. Like, in the spiritual coaching that I do, if I look at any of my contemporaries, they, who I consider a contemporary, none of them even do one-on-one sessions anymore. So it's, you do so many a day, and then you do less a day and less a day. And so, that's where marketing and community becomes so crucial, because you don't want to get burnt out, but you want to keep helping people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're on the cusp of hiring a team of people to help you with the things, the repurposing content and all that kind of stuff. And that's the wonderful thing about it. If you're just starting out and you develop a community now, what I was just talking about, 25 out of 500 being your most loyal fans, of those 25, you're going to see those top 5 that are commenting and giving advice, almost kind of speaking the way you would speak, because they're so plugged into you and how you present ideas. You can then hire those people to be part of your team, to help you moderate their community, to,
Yeah.
deliver value for you when you're not watching, because now you earn the right to take some time for yourself. So just another little problem that community solves. It's like, how do we
Yeah.
find somebody that aligns with our energy to be part of our team? Well, you've already cultivated that within your community.
And that's a whole nother topic. And I know we're out of time, but that's a whole nother topic. For your next Q&A, is some people, like what we were talking about, is your client that's doing the meditations. She had team member. She had an editor that did so much for her. And then that person moved and she lost them. And so it's hard to wrap her head around. Like, she just believed she was at square one because she didn't have the person that finished everything she started. So, then it's like, now you have to find someone else you trust to do that. So some people want teams. I hired someone, for you, this was, gosh, at the beginning of this year, I hired someone to post my social media for me. And what I learned was that I like to do it myself because I'm technologically savvy. I don't mind doing it. And especially when I'm, not that I am doing it better than the professionals that know how to do it. It's just right now, I still enjoy that part of creating it, and posting it is scheduling. It's really easy. So you learn about yourself. Some people want a team. They don't want to do it on their own. And again, if they have a day job, They're making the money. Go hire a team, get all the support. Some people are used to doing it on their own and they want the experience of it. So ask yourself, like for me, I do it on my own because I enjoy the technology of it. But as I'm feeling more of the pressure, like the time pressure and the energy pressure of doing it on myself, all myself, then yeah, now I'm asking Chris, okay, we're back to I'm gonna have to get a team because I'm no longer having fun keeping up with all of this. So the whole thing of do I hire a team? Do I do it myself? You can do it yourself. That's what Skool is about, your app, and all the software that you have is to make it all automated so you can do it yourself. Automation's another thing. God, we could go forever, but
Absolutely.
automation's
No,
another thing. So you could do it yourself. You could do all that automation, or you could hire a team. And Chris, that's where you give the best advice in helping people figure out where they are and if they truly want a team and how to find one, or if it's not as much as you think it was and you can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. You're absolutely right. We could keep going for days on this kind of stuff because you and I love talking about it. But I want to thank you. And then I also want to say to anybody watching this that sees it in the Skool Community, I'm going to have a link below this video where you can check out Tracy. I would highly recommend booking a session with her. Not only is she a dear friend now, but I found her when she was working in Sedona, and she just blew my world right open with my own transformational journey. And the rest is history, as they say. So I highly recommend a session with her, see what she can uncover for you. And I've thoroughly enjoyed our conversation here. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I recommend you to everyone starting a business because you have helped me so much and you continue to help me. Like without you, I wouldn't have grown my business the way I have, and I wouldn't be on track to the next levels that I'm reaching, So very grateful for you.
Very exciting.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Tracy. Look forward to talking to you.
Alrighty. Bye.
Talk soon. Bye-bye.